saw two images this week that were very solitary and alone. One was on a morning when I woke up around 5 o'clock. I'd come down, let the dogs out, and they'd run around a little bit, and I'd come back to sit with me on the patio, Bella down by the stone, on the stone floor, and Charlie, the little rascal, had jumped up next to me on the couch and had settled down. And I was writing and making notes and trying to sort through some of the things I was thinking about, using the opportunity to see whether by reflecting on things that had happened or that I had taken note of, whether I could learn more about them or what I'd experienced with them. And as I was sitting there, my eye was caught off to the left against the sky as a heron flew by. The heron was low, probably level with the tops of the cedar trees, and where our patio sits is high on the property. So it was just even with the ceiling of the porch. And it went by so silently and very vivid against the morning sky. Its length was long and its legs were very gray and its beak was stretched forward and its wings were stretched wide. And it just soared by. And I thought about it as it went by and wondered how it was getting down to the pond. I know that it lives down at the far end of the pond on this old maple tree that has fallen into the water years ago. And as I looked at the line that it was on, it struck me that that line wouldn't take it down to its nesting place, and left me wondering, what was it going to do? How did it turn? I'd never really seen a heron turn in flight, nor had I seen the heron land. It's not the same as when the geese come in. They come in flying very high and they drop down like raindrops and they honk and they squawk and then you hear splashes as they hit the water. The heron's always very silent, very still, flies by at different points during the course of the day. I suppose its night of wandering is over and it's going to rest down at its resting place at the end of the pond. The second sensation of solitude that I saw was a young woman who's friends of ours and who's recently gone through a really challenging time, has found herself kind of betrayed and lost in love and now has to set off into a new phase of her life. And in that point of transition, it's difficult to go from the feeling of engagement and potential resolution that you have in any relationship, whether it's good or bad, and move to the feeling of potential exploration and uncertainty that comes with heading into life on your own. She's been very strong during this period, but it's difficult to resist the temptation to re-engage with the person who's left you. And it's hard to feel strength and potential when you're feeling sadness. As I walked down the hall and just glanced into her room where she was sitting, and saw her with her ankles crossed and her hands down on her thighs, looking very beautiful, very young, very full of promise, but very alone, I thought of the heron. And I wished for her the certainty that the heron felt as it glided, the knowledge that it wouldn't take a great expense of energy to shift that track, and the ability to preserve that beauty, even alone, and surrounded by a tremendous force of nature. It was striking. I don't think people understand just how profound loneliness feels until it surprises them. And then when they're surprised by it, they want to fight back at it, because they feel like it might consume them. I don't believe it does consume people. In the end, I feel loneliness can be a path to discovery. Loneliness is your heart telling you that it's time to move on, move to something, that you need to act. There's a tremendous amount of fear that comes with that need to act. And you can't create the action for anyone. I suppose, like you can with a bird, you can startle them. You can shock them into feeling that they need to move. But to give any creature a sense of purpose, to let it find the beauty that it has, you need to give them room, and you need to give them all of your hope.